What is cracking? RPG Fantasy Sports Report, Week 3 edition. I'm RPG. He's handsome Ron Burgundy. Injuries dominating Week 3. Holy hamstring injuries, Batman. I think we're starting to see a little bit of how the shortened off season is hurting everyone. All these hamstring and leg injuries, I'm telling you, it's because people did not have the full off season. I expected to sort of see this, but these injuries are getting a little ridiculous. It's cut right to them. These are guys that should be good to go. Maybe didn't play last week, practiced somewhat this week, but I think they'll be good to go. Stevie Johnson, Brandon Lloyd, both groins, they should be good to go. Full practice this week. Mike Tolbert, Darren McFadden, Kenny Britt, Vincent Jackson, Percy Harvin. All of them have shown up on the injury report. Maybe didn't practice one day, but I think all will be good to go. One late note, it's Thursday night right now. Beanie Wells hurt his hamstring a little bit. I don't know the extent of it. There was no wrap around his leg. He should play, but once again, you get into those late afternoon games, although I think there's a lot of them this week. Just be careful. The guy's injury prone, but on the other hand, he's got nobody behind him to run the ball. Chester Taylor at like age 80 is not going to do it. But monitor it. Seattle's actually got a pretty good defensive line, and they're playing at home. They'll be pumped up. If you got somebody sort of as good as Beanie, I would sit him, to be honest with you. In terms of guys that are likely out, nobody's guaranteed out yet. That usually comes on Friday when they completely release, hey, this guy's out. But Aaron Hernandez almost for sure. Steven Jackson is questionable to doubtful. That tells me he's doubtful. He's not going to play. Cadillac Williams played Monday night and plays Steven Jackson. He's got a bad hammy, along with the rest of this league. I think he's questionable. I don't think he plays. He's got an injury checkered past. Don't go pick up Jarius Norwood against Baltimore. He'll get some brushes. He'll get some things out of the backfield. But you got to have better options than that. And if you don't, you're in trouble anyway. Mario Manningham, concussion. I don't think he's going to play. It's a lot worse than Michael Vick's, I think. And Malcolm Floyd, groin once again. Patrick Creighton's been practicing a lot. I think Floyd sits. In terms of a couple top 20 guys that you counted on that are looking shaky. Arian Foster, we did this last week. I said he'd get 10 to 12 carries. He did, but he didn't do much. Sat out the whole second half. Re-injured, whatever, re-aggravated, whatever he did to his hamstring. I don't think he plays today. And if he does, he might get a couple carries, but this has been Tate's rock to toe. I don't think Foster plays. They got to sit him like they're doing with Miles Austin in Dallas. Arian Foster owners got to be nervous. Antonio Gates, great preseason, looked healthy. All of a sudden, take her easy, Ron. Take her easy. All of a sudden, no practice today. Foot's allegedly starting to act up again. I'd be a little worried. He's going to play in a ton of late games, a couple Monday night games. This looks like a lot of game time decisions coming up, so just be wary. I'd find a backup at tight end if you have him, just to be safe. And Mike Vick. Concussion has been cleared to practice. Doesn't mean he's going to play, but signs are looking good. With concussions, it's sort of the after effects, though. He practiced today. How's he going to feel tomorrow? Keep an eye on that, though. In terms of the all-Cowboy injury team, Monday night, never good to have this many questionable people. Miles Austin, he's out. Hasn't been declared out. He's out. Dez Bryant didn't play last week. Questionable this week. Hasn't practiced. Monday he gets that extra day. But once again, unless you can pick up a Jabbar Gaffney, he's the only one worthwhile in that Monday night game that might not be owned. You're going to have to watch and see if Bryant practices. If he does tomorrow or Friday when you're watching this, good chance he's going to play. If not, you're going to have to roll the dice. I personally have him in one of my leagues, and I'm just going to decide Sunday what I want to do. I think I'm going to start him, but you don't want to get jammed. Felix Jones, separated shoulder. Looks like he may play with DeMarco Murray and Tashard Choice. Not a good start at all. He may not even play. I'd stay away from him. Tony Romo, they built a vest for him to protect him. Still think he's about one hit away from being done for the game. But, man, he showed a lot of heart, a lot of guts last week. And even without Austin, he'll throw the ball to Witten 20 times. I think Bryant plays. I think Romo's still a good start. Again, if you check my rankings, which will be up, you'll see who I'd start in front of and behind. So a lot of injuries affecting your lineups real early, which is no good. We haven't even got the buys yet. 2 weeks in, if you're an experienced owner, you might have some inexperienced players in your league that are 0-2. They're getting a little jittery. They're looking to make a trade. I personally love to trade. There's never a bad time. Even after 2 weeks, there are buy lows and sell highs. And I got a couple, 4 of each. And these are guys that I would maybe target because they've underachieved, or I'd sell or look to sell because they've overachieved. In terms of buy low, Arian Foster. This is completely contingent on whether or not you have Ben Tate. If you're that guy that has Ben Tate, I'd trade for Arian Foster. You don't have to trade the farm to get him at this point now. The Arian Foster owner has to be really frustrated. You can get him cheap. Again, if you don't have Ben Tate, I probably wouldn't swing that trade because we don't know what's going to happen with Foster. I mean, when he's healthy, he's going to get 70% of the carries. I don't care how good Tate is. But you don't want to be riding this, he may not come back thing. So if you have Tate, which I do in one of my leagues, you may look, you can get good value by getting Foster. The best buy low, Chris Johnson. 2 weeks, done hardly anything. He probably went somewhere between 3 and 6, depending on when you drafted, maybe even a little lower than that. He's had 2 rough weeks. I think he's going to break out this week against, who are they playing? Jacksonville? I don't know. They're playing Denver, I think. And I think they're going to break out. He's going to break out. You could probably get him for cheap right now because he's had 2 bad games. People are already frustrated with him. Again, you're not going to be able to get him for a 9th round pick, but before you would have had to give the farm to get him. Now you can probably get him for a wide receiver too. You know, if somebody's desperate and they're 0-2, they might be, freaking out. So a couple others, Mark Ingram. The Saints have played 2 high-scoring, tough games though. Not a lot of running room. He will get better. You can get him cheap. He had a great preseason. People probably overdraft him a little bit. But now people are undervaluing him a little bit because the Saints have been, although in high-scoring games, really haven't had a chance to break out and run. They may have a little tough time in Texas or against the Texans this weekend, but things are going to open up. I think he's a good buy low. And Mike Williams, Tampa Bay receiver, 1 catch, -4 yards last week. Not a good start to the season. Tampa Bay's offense has pretty much picked up where they left off in the preseason. He did have a touchdown call back last week. His value is really low considering people drafted him as like a fringe wide receiver 1, but mostly a wide receiver 2. You could probably scoop that guy up. I think Tampa Bay is going to get better starting this week when they're playing catch-up against Atlanta. A couple sell highs, guys that I think have overachieved a little bit. Cam Newton. Now, if you don't have a great quarterback, I'd keep him. But if you drafted Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, any of these guys, Drew Brees, anybody up top, Phillip Rivers, and you're able to get Newton off the waiver wire, and hold on to one of your stud and get rid of Newton. You could get a ton for him right now. He's passed for 800 some odd yards in 2 games. He's going to have some great games. He's unbelievable. But you're never going to play him if you've got Rodgers. So if you can sell him and you got a top 5 or 6, quarterback, sell him. If you want to hold on to Newton and get rid of a Matt Schaub, that's fine too. But if you got Newton, you've got a decent quarterback, it's time to sell because Newton's value is as high as it can be. I don't think he can get much higher right now. Tim Hightower. Last week he wouldn't be on this list, but this week he is. Good old Shanahan coming in, Roy Halou, all second half carries. Hightower was tired. If you've had a Shanahan running back before, you know how this goes. I'd sell if you can. Beanie Wells, I had this written down before he hurt his hamstring. 2 great weeks, injury prone. You can get a lot for him right now because he has no backup. Going to be tougher now. You don't want to deceive a fellow player that doesn't know he's injured. But if he gets healthy again, he's still a sell high. And Reggie Wayne, 1 really good week, 1 okay week. That offense is just a mess. Reggie Wayne's old. You can still get by in his 2 first pretty decent games, and the fact he's Reggie Wayne, you might be able to sell him high. And my sell of the week. You're not going to get much for him. If you can get 50 cents on the dollar, Sean Green. I was not right about him. He looks horrible. Nick Mangold, their center, is out. They're passing the ball a lot more. LT still looks great on 3rd down. He's like Blunt. He's not going to come in any 3rd down passing downs. If you can sell him, please sell him. Anyways, you can check out my rankings if you want to figure out who you want to start and sit. My rankings are up. www.rpgfantasysports.com. Right up there. Check out the rankings. Check out all my articles from this week. I want to give a special shout out, besides my boy Ron Burgundy, to the San Diego State Aztecs. Going into the Big House on Saturday to face Michigan. Just beat a Pac-12 team for the first time since like 1800. If we can beat the Brady Hoke, the Steamers, if we can beat Michigan in the Big House this week somehow, have Ronnie Hillman go crazy, we'll be 4-0 going into homecoming in 2 weeks against TCU, where I'll be there, Mrs. RPG will be there, Aztecs, 9 a.m., Mutt Lynch's, be there.